Okay. Okay, welcome everybody. We're so happy to see you here on a Wednesday, having tea together for a Dharma Tea Talk. Estamos muy agradecidos para ver todos hoy aquí en un miércoles para tomar té y un goto de Dharma juntos. We're so happy that our resident Dewa Chen Lama is joining us here today. Estamos muy agradecidos que Lama está nos compartiendo hoy. So everyone raise your teacup.
Tea. Dharma tea talk.
Our favorite
Lama
Sangye
Sangye
Rinpoche,
Gyoba
Gyoba Lame,
Lame
Damcho
Tamje
Rinpoche,
Rinpoche
Dimba Lame, Gendon Rinpoche,
Kyamne
Kyamne Goncho
Gonjo
Sumla Chepa.
Bambu. Who's ya? Okay. Y bienvenidos todos a Dharma Tea Talk.
So welcome everybody to the Dharma Tea Talk.
Es largo tiempo, ese casi un año, Dharma Tea Talk, o menos.
Que estamos haciendo las 37 prácticas
Sí,
o
sí.
solo Dharma Tea Talk?
¿Tienes ese para ti?
Solo 37 prácticas. Yeah, it's been over a year that we've been doing the 37 practices.
Ya, hasta hoy llegamos a nuestro verso 22.
23.
¿23?
Yeah.
23.
So today we have arrived to the 23rd practice of the 37 practices.
Ya, ahora todavía falta mucho.
So we still have a lot to go.
Ya, ok. Ok, voy a rezar rezos primero.
So first I'm going to do some prayers.
Tienes cerdo. Ya.
Boom. Oh. Okay. Dawa jepe jana pa jepe ya. Dawa don don che kempe bardo.
Jeba jeba
Dom
tam
cheke sol jepe ma naka dan yampe sen jen tam dewa dan den dowa dan dra.
Gyurdo lana meba yanda baranzo ve chanjo
Rinpoche
Toba
Towa
Richa.
All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, may they be free from suffering, and swiftly will I establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood.
Tenchendo sama
Mage ke bardo lo ye sangye wala ko. Maje bardo lo ye sangye wala ko. De re ne son te nyama santa sangye bardo lo ye sangye wala ko. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind.
Sangye chedan
Soge chonom la donjo bardo dani kyabso che dage jenso gepe sonam ke chonan tache sangye jo barjo sangye chedan soge chonam la chanjo bardo dani kyabso che dage jenso gepe son cholam pancher sangye jo barjo. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the most excellent Sangha, I take refuge until I reach enlightenment. By the merit of generosity and the other good deeds, may I achieve Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Manangada
Nyambe semchen tamche dewa dan dewe gyo dan denbar gyo che. Donga donga ge gyo danja gyo che. Donga mepe dewa dan me jawar gyo che. Nyeri jadan jidan tabe tanyam la ne vara gyo che. May all sentient beings as numerous as the sky have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from joy, and may they be free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Ahora parte verso, ¿puedes tener?
Now we'll go through the verses. I will say them in English, and if you
Puedes
are,
acompañarnos todos.
if you're in Spanish, you could accompany me by reading it in Spanish.
Y-
Voy a
sí,
decirlo en inglés, pero si quieres
puedes
puedes
acompañar.
acompañar en español.
English
Lama's
también.
going to translate for me today. Espera. Hold on. Hold on. I need to do this really quickly, and I can see. Okay.
Yeah.
I pay homage, Nama Lokeshwaraya. I pay homage through my 3 doors to my supreme teacher and protector Chenrezig, who, while seeing all phenomenon lack coming and going, makes single-minded effort for the good of living beings. Perfect Buddha's source of all well-being and happiness arise from accomplishing the excellent teachings. And this depends on knowing the practices. So I will explain the practices of Bodhisattvas. Having gained this rare ship of freedom and fortune, to listen and think and meditate unwaveringly night and day in order to free yourself and others from this ocean of cyclic existence. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Attachments to loved ones are stirred up like water. Aggressions towards enemies burn like fire. Dark are the delusions of forgetting what to adopt and discard. Give up your homeland. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. When one abandons harmful lands, disturbing emotions gradually decrease. When one is without distraction, virtuous activities naturally increase. With clarity of mind, conviction in Dharma arises. Cultivate solitude. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Long-time companions will part. Possessions gained through difficulty will be left behind. Consciousness, the guest, will leave the guest house of the body. Letting go of this life, this is the practice of Bodhisattvas. In the company of base friends, the 3 poisons increase. Your activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating decline. Love and compassion are made absent. Give up unwholesome friends. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. When one attends a true spiritual friend, faults are consumed, and your good qualities grow full like the waxing moon. Cherish spiritual friends even more than your own body. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Bound himself in the jail of cyclic existence, what worldly God can give you protection? Therefore, when you seek refuge, take refuge in the undeceiving 3 jewels. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. The subduer said that all unbearable suffering of bad rebirths is the fruit of wrongdoing. Therefore, even at the cost of your life, never do wrong. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Like a dewdrop on the blade of grass, well-being in the 3 planes of existence perishes in but an instant. Seeking the supreme status of never-changing release is the Bodhisattva's practice. When your mothers who have loved you since time without beginning are suffering, what use is your own happiness? Therefore, develop the altruistic intention to free limitless beings. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. All suffering comes from wanting your own happiness. Complete awakening arises from the intention to help others. So exchange completely your happiness for the suffering of others. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Even if someone driven by great desire steals all your wealth or let others steal it, dedicate to them your body, possessions, and all virtues of the 3 times. This is the way of a Bodhisattva. Even if someone cuts off your head when you haven't done anything wrong, take all their negative deeds upon yourself through the power of compassion. This is the way of the Bodhisattva. Even if others slander you throughout a billion worlds, in return, speak with a loving mind of their good qualities. This is the way of a Bodhisattva. Even if some dig out my hidden faults and insult me in the midst of a crowd, to bow respectfully, perceiving them as a spiritual friend, this is the Bodhisattva's practice. Even if the person I have dearly nurtured, like my own child, should view me as an enemy, to love him even more as a mother does a child stricken with illness, it is the Bodhisattva's practice. Even if driven by pride, an equal or inferior being tries to demean me. Placing him with respect like a guru at my crown is the Bodhisattva's practice. Though I may lack sustenance, be constantly abused, stricken by grave illness and evil spirits, in return to be undaunted and to take upon myself all wayfarers' misdeeds and ill-being is the Bodhisattva's practice. Though I may be renowned with many bowing to me, and may gain wealth like Vaisbrahmanas, having seen the glory and riches of existence are meaningless, not to be puffed up with pride is the Bodhisattva's practice. When the enemy of one's own aggression has not been tamed, subduing outer enemies will only make them multiply. Therefore, to conquer one's own continuum with the army of love and compassion is the Bodhisattva's practice. Sensual pleasures are like salt water. The more you partake of them, the more your craving will increase. Therefore, when something arouses attachment, to abandon it immediately is the Bodhisattva's practice. The way things appear are one's own mind. From the very beginning, that very mind has been free from elaborated extremes. Knowing just that, not to create in the mind the signs of grasped at and grasping is the Bodhisattva's practice. Today we're doing verse 23, and it is transcending pleasing circumstances. When you encounter attractive objects, though they seem beautiful like a rainbow in summer, don't regard them as real and give up attachment. This is the practice of bodhisattvas.
Un minuto, inhalar, exhalar.
So we're going to inhale and exhale for one moment.
Solo como relajar, traer la presencia un momento.
Just relax and bring yourself present for the moment.
Es solo reflexionar todo ese verso.
Just reflect on this verse.
Todo ese verso que escuchamos.
All these verses that we listened to.
Solo mirar el significado.
And just look at its meaning.
Inhalar, exhalar.
Inhale and exhale.
Ya. Muy bien. Oh, ya. Entonces, del verso entero nos hablamos sobre de cómo la mente, ¿cierto? En nuestro verso interior, como todos los fenómenos aparece la proyección de nuestras mentes. Eso hablo, ¿cierto?
So in the last verse, we spoke about that everything is a projection of our mind.
Entonces, eso conectado con eso, ese verso también, ¿no?
And so this verse is also connected with that.
Porque todo lo cosa bonito, fea o lindo, cualquier cosa, todo nosotros idea, nuestra mente, pusimos ese significado.
So everything that we see as pleasing or beautiful or unpleasing, all of this is a projection of our mind. Our mind is putting meaning onto it.
Porque ninguno fenómeno externamente que tú percibes, que nosotros percibimos, igual que percibimos, no existe eso, sólidos. Cuando nos percibimos, o taza, que ver un sólido, ¿cierto? Como si permanente algo, y el mismo que creció, ¿cierto? Como independiente. Entonces, cuando realmente será, miramos, o también nuestra propia mente, pues, o tazas, creemos, es todo.
So everything that we see, we imagine it to be solid, autonomous, and whole. We don't see all of the conditions that are with it. additionally, we kind of project onto the object, not only believing that it's solid, but we also put meaning to it. We label it, we call it cup.
Entonces, por eso dicen, oh, no puede decir no existe, ¿no?
So we can't say it doesn't exist.
Tampoco no puede decir existe,
And
¿no?
we also can't say that it exists.
El camino de la medio,
So
¿no?
we look at the middle path.
¿Por qué no podemos no puede decir no existe ninguna cosa, ¿no?
Why can't we say that it doesn't exist?
Yo puedo tocar taza,
Well, I can touch it.
me veo ojo,
I
¿no?
see it.
Es relativo convencional,
This is the relative level, the conventional level.
basado en ley de causa, efecto, condition.
It's based on the law of cause and effect, like the causes and conditions.
Por eso no podemos negar eso.
And because we can't negate that.
Tampoco no pues, oh, existe esa taza realmente, ¿no?
We can't also say this cup really exists
Permanentemente.
permanently.
Buscamos muy como cerca, detallado, ¿cierto? No va a encontrar.
If we look very closely, we're not really going to be able to find it.
Ok, entonces es unión.
So this is the union.
Unión de la ley de interdependencia vacuidad.
The union of interdependence and emptiness.
Realidad convencional, realidad última, unión.
It's the relative level and the ultimate level are in union.
Oh, ya. Entonces todo como la conecta con la nuestra mente,
And
¿cierto?
so really all of it's connected with our mind.
¿No? Entonces ahora, por ejemplo, hoy día nosotros, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Momento, cosas agradables de 5 sentidos. Ese es más peligroso, un obstáculo para la vida.
So, como hoy vamos a hablar de los 5 sentidos.
¿Qué vamos a hacer? Momento, cosas agradables en la vida basados en 5 sentidos.
So what is going to happen when there is a pleasurable experience in life that is based on the 5 senses?
Eso es uno de más peligrosos.
It's actually one of the most dangerous.
Porque ese es un engaño, ¿cierto?
It's actually like a trick.
Porque él, como una trampa, ¿cierto?
It's like a trap
Te da mucho cosita rico, ¿cierto?
because it gives you many delicious things.
Oh, te rico,
The delicious tea,
cerveza rico, ¿no?
the delicious beer,
Y ropa lindo, rico,
beautiful
¿no?
clothes,
Amigo lindo, todo,
beautiful
¿no?
friends.
Es uno y trampa, en realidad, ¿no?
It's really like a trap.
Nos entramos ahí,
And we go there.
después poco a poco, pues de toda la naturaleza fenomenal, recién hablamos, como la base de compuesto.
And then we see that each of the nature of the phenomenon is actually composite. It's composed.
Y puede cambiar, ¿cierto?
And that therefore it changes.
Taza rompía,
The cup can break.
o mi ropa favorito,
And my favorite clothes,
o el mancho,
it got stained.
o un amigo mi favorito, o mi pelo,
Peleó. My best friend, and then today we fought.
todo con impermanencia.
All of it's impermanent.
Entonces, por eso dice uno ejemplo de arcoíris, como
So
arcoíris.
that's why we give this example of the rainbow.
Cuando tú miras solo arcoíris,
If you just look at the rainbow,
todos nosotros amamos.
all of us love the rainbow.
No hay problema con arcoíris.
There's no problem with the rainbow.
Puedes sacar foto,
You can take a photo,
pero no dura mucho eso.
but it doesn't last long.
Máximo 5 minutos.
Maximum 5 minutes.
Pero ese arcoíris, ¿de dónde viene?
But where does this rainbow come from?
Igual viene con sus condiciones,
It
¿cierto?
also comes from causes
Con
and
la
conditions.
lluvia, húmedo, bajo, ¿por qué no?
With like the rain and the vapor, the light, all of these things
Ahí
together.
viene como arcoíris,
And then
¿cierto?
this rainbow arises.
Muy bonito, lindo.
And it's so beautiful.
Pero lamentablemente no dura mucho.
But unfortunately, it doesn't last long.
Entonces, eso nosotros no tenemos apego, ¿cierto?
So we don't have attachment, right, to this.
Cuando aparece,
When it appears,
disfrutamos.
we enjoy it.
Cuando desaparece,
And when it disappears,
tranquilo, ¿cierto?
we're also tranquilo. We're
Porque-
like calm about it.
Nosotros ya tenemos esa conciencia de eso, ¿no?
Ah,
Muy como la garabato y esa conciencia, oh, ese arcoíris, ¿no?
Because we already know this is the way that rainbows are.
No sufre.
We don't suffer.
Por eso no hay problema con las bellezas,
So
todas las
there's-
palacios de 5 sentidos, ¿no?
There's no problem with the beauty or with the pleasures of the 5 senses.
Y problema con el apego, ¿cierto?
We have problems with attachment.
Apego, ¿no? Por eso desde Tilopa digo en la Naropa,
That's why Tilopa said to Naropa,
no hay problema, cualquiera tú tenga uno tener poses, ¿no? Como
There's no
deseo.
problem to possess these things or have these things.
Puede tener todo máximo, ¿no?
You can have all of it.
Pero el problema tiene apegos, con
The
apego.
problem is the attachment.
Viene el sufrimiento,
Then
¿cierto?
suffering comes.
Ese es fundamental, ¿no? Ahora tiene que purificar, ¿no?
So this is fundamentally what we need to purify.
Entonces, ¿cómo purificamos eso? ¿Cuál es su antídoto, no?
So how do we purify this? What is the antidote?
El principal antídoto es como la impermanencia.
The principal antidote is impermanence.
Entender impermanencia, ¿no?
Understand impermanence.
Todo cosa nace, por ejemplo.
Everything is born.
Tiene nacimiento, ahí tiene que como morir, ¿cierto?
If it is born, it will die.
Es como natural ley de la vida, ¿no?
It's the natural law of life.
No hay nacer, no hay morir.
If there's no born, then there's no death. Birth or death.
Por eso dice, yultang chepa na, yitang como la agradable, atractiva, dice, ¿no? Cuando yo encuentro un objeto atractivo, ¿cómo vamos a hacer?
So whenever I encounter something very attractive, what will I do?
No significa no disfrutar, ¿ya?
It doesn't
No
mean
significa.
not to enjoy it.
Es un momento muy peligroso, yo digo, ¿no?
That
Muy
can
peligroso.
be very dangerous.
Porque nosotros como distraímos con eso, ¿no?
We can get really distracted with these pleasures,
Y no permite salir.
and then we can't get out of it.
Por eso se me aplicaba de oveja, ¿no? No, abeja.
So
Abeja, dos tipos de abeja, ¿no?
I always spoke about like two different types of bees.
Uno abeja gusta comer la flor, esencia, néctar de flor.
So the bees like to drink the essence of a flower, the nectar.
Ok, está bien. Ya, gusta, ¿cierto? Pero uno abeja poco no tiene inteligente, digamos, ¿no? No tiene conciencia, digamos.
So there's one type of bee that's not very intelligent.
Va con la flor.
It goes into the flower
Queda ahí
and
mucho
it
tiempo.
stays too long,
Bien apegado.
very attached.
Cuando el sol va a florecer,
And then when the sun goes, the flower closes
atrapado dentro,
and it gets trapped there
y él va a morir.
and it will die.
Y flor daña.
And it also hurts the flower.
Uno abeja inteligente,
And then there's another kind of bee that's intelligent
come,
that eats
sale.
and leaves.
Come, sale.
That eats and
Y mira,
leaves.
él nunca va a morir ni daña la flor.
And they won't die and they also don't damage the flower.
Lo mismo nuestra vida, ¿no?
It's the same with our life.
Por eso mucho no se puede ejemplo, mirarla uno como enseñanza los seres de naturaleza, ¿no? Enseña,
Los seres de la naturaleza.
como abeja enseñando, ¿viste?
We can look at all of these beings in nature. A lot of them are teachers for us.
Ya. Eso. Entonces vamos, algunos comentarios voy a dejar, no voy a hablar mucho.
He said, I'm going to leave it open for some questions and comments. I'm not going to speak too much.
Ya. Ustedes, ¿qué piensan sobre eso?
I want to
Ustedes,
know what you
ustedes-
think
ustedes,
about
¿qué
this.
sobre eso, no? Todos los fenómenos pueden aplicar. Todos los
This
fenómenos.
can explain all
Ar-
phenomenon.
Tú tienes interna como arcoíris.
You have to train your mind to think it's like a rainbow.
Uno como pareja. Todo arcoíris.
Your partner, your food,
Todo arcoíris, ¿no?
everything's like a rainbow.
Arcoíris significa no te demora mucho, ¿no? No dura mucho, ¿cierto? Como general, ¿no? Sí, pues vida máximo 100 años después de tener hijos, todo el mundo.
Yo lo entendí en otra manera.
Okay.
Um, he said all these things we have to think of it like a rainbow because it doesn't last so long. Like maximum someone lives like around 100 years. That's not so long.
Como dice uno la mañana, ¿no? Viene sol, ¿cierto?
So in like the morning, the sun rises.
Como más oscuro, como
Then it
viene
gets darker. It goes darker and darker.
sombra, ¿no?
It fades.
Como si fuera esa vida, ¿no?
And this is like our life.
Ya. Por eso es importante no significa, no es como tristeza, pero importante consciente de eso.
It doesn't mean be sad, but it means be aware.
Ya.
I'm gonna turn this off so I can see all of y'all.
Ya, bueno. Ya, ¿alguien puede tener algunas preguntas?
Does anybody have any questions or comments that you would like to share? Go ahead. The Cahal's team room.
Lama, thank you, Carolina. So, Lama, I just finished having pizza. I was eating the pizza, and it was just pizza for me, but I was really enjoying it. But it wasn't a rainbow. Do I need to see it as a rainbow as I'm eating it? How do I know whether I'm attached or seeing things as pleasure, but also impermanent and empty?
Okay. Él ahorita comió un pizza y le gustó mucho,
Ya.
pero en el momento no estaba pensando en impermanencia, ¿cierto? Y quiere saber cómo puedo saber que si tengo la conciencia de impermanencia, como que si me está pegando o si realmente estoy también dando cuenta de la impermanencia de la vacuidad de la pizza.
Pizza rico, ¿no?
Now I'm jealous.
Oh, ya, ok. Y normalmente, mira, generalmente, por supuesto, nosotros disfrutamos, ¿cierto?
Of course we enjoy.
Y normalmente dice, cuando comemos, normalmente, en tres maneras de comer, normalmente.
So
Acuerdo a los tres caminos.
okay, so there are 3 ways to eat according to the 3 paths.
Que no tener como la apego cuando comemos,
To
¿no?
not have attachment while we're eating.
Como visión de como pratimoksha,
So in the pratimoksha way,
como liberación
In-
individual, ¿no?
in the
Pratimoksha significa liberación individual.
in the individual liberation path,
Ellos comen
they eat
para mantener el cuerpo solamente.
to maintain the body.
Voy a comer para mantener el cuerpo.
So I eat to maintain the body,
Como una gasolina, ¿no?
like fuel,
Para gasolina, para y él tenga buenas fuerzas.
so that they have good strength
Y también para servir para otro
and to serve others
y despertar,
and
¿no?
to wake up.
Y mañana,
And then the Mahayana,
cuando come,
uh,
nosotros dentro tenemos como bacteria, mucho la bacteria como insectos en los cuerpos. No morirse ellos, va a comer para ellos, para conversiones.
okay, in the Mahayana way, we eat for all of the like microorganisms and like other beings that live inside of us. So we eat to feed them.
Conversión para ellos,
So for
¿no?
compassion.
No hay yo, no apego,
There's
¿cierto?
no I, no
No hay yo.
attachment.
O yo voy a comer, o mantener el cuerpo,
I'm gonna-
o voy para ¿cómo se llama? Para mantener mi como seres interiores, ¿no?
So I'm going to eat for my body, but also to maintain the beings that live within me.
Sí, algunas seres buenas, no solo malos.
Some of
¿cierto?
them are good.
Ayuda,
Some of
¿no?
them are good and helpful.
Y Vajrayana,
And then in the
Más-
Vajrayana way,
nosotros somos deidades,
we are deities.
como siempre hablamos, no son naturaleza innato, siempre como seres divinos, ¿no?
Our innate nature is a divine being.
Y ofrenda para ellos.
And so we can make an offering
Ofrenda,
to the divine being.
ofrenda pizza para divino
We're
being.
giving pizza to the divine being.
Pero Cajal puede disfrutar,
But Kahal can enjoy
disfrutar al mismo tiempo, ¿no?
at the same time.
Pero ahí tiene uno conciencia, falta uno conciencia,
But then
¿no?
we're just lacking a
Un-
little
intención.
consciousness, an intention.
Porque normalmente nosotros cuando comemos,
Because
por
normally
ejemplo,
when we eat,
tal vez si no tiene apego como mujer neutro, pero también más como rico, ¿no? Como apego con el sabor, ¿no?
but often we might be like really attached to the taste.
Poco, ¿no? Oh, qué rico, algo, ¿no? Poco, y eso. Esa manera perdemos conciencia, ¿no?
And in this way, we kind of lose consciousness.
Conciencia. Y esa manera ahí puede como identificarlos, ¿no?
And so in that way, we can identify these things.
Por eso una cosa muy lindo en la vida, ¿no? Solo cambia la mente, puede hacer todo.
So it's really interesting because if you just change your mind in life, you can do everything.
Y eso Lojong dice, práctica de Lojong
This
dice,
is
¿no?
like in the practice of Lojong.
No necesita cambiar nada para externos.
We don't have to change anything externally.
Solo cambiar dentro.
Just change the inside.
Cuando no cambia significa cuando no es vaciado simplemente altruista.
So when everything's maintain in the based on the altruistic mind,
Todo incluye en tu práctica de Dharma.
everything's included in your Dharma practice.
No necesariamente canta la mantra, no necesariamente cierto,
You
una
don't
oración,
have to
¿cierto?
sing mantras and do the prayers.
Ya, como cualquiera nosotros.
It's not just about mantras and prayers. Every action becomes a practice.
Entonces, eso como gracia de Bodhisattva, ¿no?
And so this is thanks to bodhicitta.
¿No? Ya, maravilloso.
So can we get pizza?
Ya,
We'll
bueno,
go an hour down the mountain to go
Yeah.
get pizza now. Thank
ahora-
you.
Ya. Boca de agua.
We're unsure if
Boca
they
agua,
deliver.
Boca de agua. Boca de agua.
It doesn't make sense.
Boca de agua
I
significa
understand.
cuando uno
I understand.
Oh, yo
Antojo.
gano antojo.
Antojo. Doesn't make sense in
Dígale.
English at all.
¿No?
It means
Ahora quiero
now we
pizza.
have craving, he's saying. He used like a word in Spanish. It would like this sounds not correct in English, so I'm going with the meaning.
Okay. Okay.
Any other thoughts or questions
O comentario. Sobre el arcoíris. ¿Qué
about
piensan del arcoíris?
Lama wants to know what you think about the rainbow.
Mucha gente dice, arcoíris es lama muy fácil, pero cosa más difícil dice, ¿no? Mucha gente
A
normal.
lot of people say like a rainbow is easy to understand, but the things are less easy to understand.
¿Entendió? Arcoíris porque no puede tocar, ¿no?
Because like a rainbow, you can't touch it,
Pero cosa eso puede tocar, ¿no? ¿Cómo se
but you actually can touch a thing.
Hola, tengo una pregunta.
¿Sí? Dale.
¿Cuál es la línea para diferenciar si es apego o sobre el amor? Por ejemplo, que se muera mi mamá y ella ya no está, pero yo siento dolor, sufrimiento, que también es amor, pero ¿hasta dónde es amor y hasta dónde es apego?
So Alonso's question is that she's wondering where is the line between attachment and love. For example, if my mother dies, I feel a lot of pain for that, and I know that comes from love, but where's the line between love and attachment?
Ah, ya. Para nosotros todavía puede tener poquito amor mezclado con apegos nosotros.
So for us, we still have love and attachment mixed,
Muy difícil
and
todavía,
it's
¿no?
very difficult.
Normalmente ese como línea de entre la apego y amor ese, primero identifica formas, porque forma, ¿no? Porque apego más que siempre formas. Y amor independiente más allá de formas.
So a lot of times attachment has to do with form, and then love has to do with beyond form.
Y otro puede diferenciar la intención.
And the other is is to identify intention.
Amor quiere feliz para mi madre, porque otros.
Love would like happiness for my mother, for example,
Libertad,
freedom for her.
como deseo feliz mi mamá,
I
¿no?
wish that my mother's free, or happiness.
Pero apego, yo quiero, yo extraño,
But the attachment is I want her.
yo quiero, ¿no?
I
Ahí
wish.
como para
I want her for me.
algo, ¿no? Para mí, ¿no?
For me.
Yo, beneficio propio.
I
quiero
want
decir,
it to
¿no?
benefit me.
Esos dos pocos diferentes, ¿no?
And so those two are different.
Entonces, por supuesto, nosotros sentimos, ahora cuando se requiere perdemos, sentimos ya no existe más perdido hoy, ¿no?
¿Cómo?
Nosotros pensamos, cuando perdemos, se requiere perdido hoy, no existir más con nosotros.
And so we think that when our loved one dies, they no longer exist with us.
¿Por qué pensando?
And why do we think that?
Nosotros pensando mucho apegado con las formas.
Because we're so attached to their form.
Por ejemplo, la taza rompió.
So the cup breaks
Sigue té está ahí,
and the tea's still there,
continuando.
continuing,
Taza rompió.
and the cup broke.
Forma de tu madre ya fue, por ejemplo.
The form of your mother went,
Pero su esencia nunca muere,
but
nunca
her
siempre
essence
muere.
will never die.
Siempre presente.
It's always present.
Tal vez cambió sus formas,
And her form changes
cambió su misión,
and her mission changes,
pero en realidad no murió,
but
¿no?
she didn't die.
Pero por supuesto, nosotros no tenemos ese nivel de conciencia
But
todavía, ¿no?
we don't have this level of consciousness still.
No ver, solo ver la forma, ¿no?
We only see the form.
Y eso es poco a poco entender,
So
¿ya?
little by little we'll understand
Entonces,
this.
Pues desapego no significa, desapego no significa tú como filio, ¿no? Como filio, como como abandonar, rechazar, no significa eso.
So like
Disappearance.
detachment doesn't mean to be cold and just to abandon something.
¿yo? Pero tú siempre puedes como agradecer y puedes recordar bondad de madre, siempre recuerda, ¿no?
But you can always give thanks and remember the loving kindness of your
Esta
mother
cosa hizo y es cuerpo regalo, ¿no?
and the things that she gave you, like your body.
Pero físicamente todo el mundo tiene que hacer un día ir,
But
¿no?
physically, we all have to go someday.
Es todavía hay apego eso.
So there's attachment there. Thank you.
Gracias.
I think first, I don't know how to actually pronounce your name this way, Anuradha.
See, that was perfect. You can also call me Radha. I met you both at Drala Mountain Center.
I know exactly who you are, but I was like, the name, I was like, I don't remember calling you this before.
No attachment to name either here. It's namaste. It's so good to see so many familiar faces, and thank you for this Dharma tea talk tonight. It's so necessary, and this teaching is really beautiful, Lama, and the description about the cup breaking and the love just flowing. I really, really like that as an analogy for what's happening here. I was wondering if you could continue on with this idea of the relationship to another or a loved one or a partner, and to continue to see it as that essence, or not see it, but have a relationship as one has to the rainbow, as impermanence and detachment. How to do that? I'm constantly getting caught up in the responsibility, let's say, for how I make another feel, which one never really knows, that it's my perspective, and but I think that I'm just being far too sensitive, and if I start to detach, it does become cold. So there's this imbalance, and how to bring it back into the center. I don't know if you could add or share some of the teachings on this, or how you feel.
And you're talking about in context of personal relationship, right? Like partnership.
Yes. Yeah. Or personal as in those that I really care about. It's
Okay.
easy to be detached with when you're working at a job, but those gems, there's it's hard at the moment, I think, in the state of the world. There's just a lot of fractured minds that are just walking this path along with us. And it's easier to want to be detached to that, as well as want to help them. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I don't want to take up too much time.
¿Puede explicar un poco más de la balanza entre desapego en relaciones, especialmente con personas que tienes mucho cariño para ellos? Es como ella siempre encuentra un extremo como frío, desapego, o demasiado ganchado en las emociones y los pensamientos. Entonces, ¿cómo puedo actualmente como estar engaged, que hemos hablado el otro día, actualmente activo, pero no apegado? ¿Cómo, si puedes explicar más de eso?
Okay. Yes. No tan fácil eso, ¿no?
No, that's not easy.
No tan fácil, pero puede
It's
eso,
not
¿no?
easy, but it's possible.
Eso uno practicas
And
todo, ¿no?
all of it's practice.
Mm, más que todo la parte no son atención plena,
A lot of it has to
mente,
do
¿no?
with our mindfulness.
Como siempre nosotros no hay problema como físicamente, como cerca o cualquier persona, ¿cierto? Como nosotros, o tomando rico, cualquiera, pero siempre mantener la conciencia ahí. No importa, por ejemplo, tú físicamente contactos con los cinco sentidos, ¿cierto? ¿No? ¿Cierto? Pero más, siempre es importante para recordar cada momento,
So
¿no?
it's important to practice with everything. Like even you can use the five senses, like, and you have your mind has contact with these different objects, or people. And it's just important to maintain awareness of the mind, to know that what you're doing.
Y también alguna buena, también con la mente budista es todavía importante, ¿no?
And really the mind of bodhicitta is very important.
Y entonces siempre cualquiera, como por ejemplo, a veces uno comida rico, no sé, alguna conversación, para tú no tener sentido, puede hacer intención positiva para otro disfruta, ¿cierto?
So if you're
Algunos,
in
¿no?
a conversation that has not so much meaning, you can just change your intention so that it benefits somebody.
Y cuando, por ejemplo, a veces nosotros, o como mucho alejamos mucho como superior, ¿cierto? Ahí podemos intención de porque otra persona poco feliz. Por ejemplo, nosotros personalmente, o yo no quiero más como sacar de persona, quiero detenerse. Es poco feliz, ¿cierto? Pero puede cambiar intención, uno mucho conciencia, puede disfrutar con esa persona como
So
relaciones,
sometimes we like to be
conversación.
like a little cold to people and we want to distance ourselves from people, but we can actually change our intention and be there for somebody and support them.
Entonces, por supuesto, nosotros no tan fácil, porque nosotros comenzando, nuestras aflicciones son muy gruesos, ¿no? Muy
And it's
gruesos,
very hard, especially as beginners, because our afflictions are very thick.
¿no? Entonces, ahí ¿cómo dice? ¿Cómo transformar eso? Poco complicado, ¿cierto?
So
Normalmente.
to transform these things are not easy, it's quite complicated.
Por eso el Buda enseñó camino de la poquito distancia, ¿cierto?
That's why the Buddha spoke about the path of distance
Y camino de la transformación,
and the
¿no?
path of
Bodhisattva,
transformation.
¿no? Y camino de distancia, cualquiera de nosotros, donde generar un objeto, ¿cierto? Donde generar la apego, un objeto, distancia de objeto, ¿no?
Wherever we generate attachment for the objects, then we can also have distance from the
El
object.
Buda
That's like
enseñó, ¿no?
one of the ways.
¿No? Entonces, cuando tiene poquito capacidades, ¿no?
And when we have a little bit of capacity,
No nace de evitar el objeto,
then we don't have to avoid the objects.
pero ahí transforma
We
internamente,
can transform it internally,
transforma apego internamente, ¿no?
transform our attachment internally.
Ya mismo Lama entero porque hablando como pizza, ¿cierto?
It's the same like Lama was speaking about with the pizza,
Pero solo cambia la intención
but just
interna
changing the chip internally
y puede mantener con externamente
and,
como la relación,
and
todo
maintain
cosa,
the
¿no?
relationships externally.
Eso yo creo que puede hacer.
This is something that I can see that can be done. I've seen some ways that like Lama interacts like with people like in real life situations, and some of the things that I think that he does, one of the things that obviously he's saying right now and talks about a lot is the intention. I think a lot of times, I don't know about you, but I guess I can only speak from my own experience. Like when dealing with other people, often I can get like really confused because I'm unsure of like what's the actual best solution right now, and I'm actually getting really caught up in the details in the story. And I'm noticing a lot of times that Lama he's like, well, I have the right intention, and so I know the actions that I'm doing are the right actions to my best capacity. And so whether I can solve this with perfect result, solve this problem perfectly right now or not, I know that the mind stream that I'm cultivating and the causes and effects that I'm cultivating are the correct causes and effects. So sometimes he like gives some spaciousness to like, I feel like often, for me at least, and maybe in Western culture, we get caught up in the details of the story, like literally trying to fix every little thing in it. And I noticed that Lama's responses often a broad response of just like cultivating right action and like really coming at it with loving kindness, like listening to someone and allowing them to speak, and then maybe sometimes having to come up with a solution that could seem cold, on the forefront. It could seem cold, but if you really look deeply into it and think about it, it's like actually was the most beneficial. And so that's just one thing that I've noticed over time that's starting to wear on me a little bit, is just to notice like what the genuine intention is behind it and like the actions that are coming from it. And often when we just really focus on coming from a place of compassion and not necessarily like soft compassion, but we really coming from a place of wishing well-being for others, often the results that will come from that will be the right ones. And it takes some patience to work it out. It doesn't happen in the first conversation. It just like opens up the space for the right solutions to come forth, and we get a little less caught up. And then I also see him be like, oh, well, like a dream, it comes and it goes. I did, that's just how it is. And so it's just like a little like more lightness to the situation that might seem so challenging. For me, that seems completely debilitating at times, but it does bring us a different perspective around it.
Thank you so much. That really, really helps. I'll try to practice that. I love someone right now who's been psychologically abused most of his life, and currently he's living with his parents. So that kind of pressure is continuing, and it's really like sucking his soul. He's trying to build a garden and internally and outdoors there, and everything just keeps dying. He can't cultivate any of the seeds. So it's symbolic for how his mind is. And so it's like I just feel extra responsibility to make sure that my intentions and my actions and my speech with him are just very compassionate. But as a result of this, the opposite keeps happening as well. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Está diciendo eso es muy significativo para mí porque estoy en como relación con alguien que tiene abuso toda su vida, abuso verbal, y está con sus padres ahorita. Entonces, y la presión está mucho más ahorita. Entonces, yo da cuenta que tengo que realmente cultivar muy significativa cada semilla que tengo que cultivar con él. Tiene que estar con compasión. Yo da cuenta de eso, pero es muy difícil.
Ya.
Como no puedo hacer negativa con él porque ya tiene eso, es
Iri-
complejo, ya
como
tiene eso
herida.
herida.
Y
Entonces
sepan,
yo tengo que dar mucha conciencia de cada acción que tengo que es
es
positiva.
como como familia.
Su pareja,
Como pareja, ok.
ya, de
Ok,
ella.
ok, ok, ok. Ok. Ese puede, cuando tiene eso, un gran maestro.
Ah,
El gran maestro.
¿qué cosa? Él es
Y
maestro
eres
para
el
ella.
gran maestro para ella.
And then, so he's a great teacher for you.
¿No? Realmente, para considerar eso.
So you
Considerar eso,
consider
¿no?
him this way.
Porque tú mira negativo, ¿no?
If you look at the negative,
Y no va a aprender nada.
then it won't learn anything.
Entonces tú mira es realmente un profesor
You really see him as your
que a
teacher.
mí enseñar paciencia,
That's teaching me patience
aceptación,
and acceptance
la compasión.
and compassion.
Realmente puede enseñar, ¿no?
He can really teach you that.
Sí, porque no tenemos ese de profesor,
If we don't see this as our teacher,
nunca va a despertar la compasión,
then
¿no?
we're never going to wake
No.
up our compassion.
Porque todo el mundo, oh, tú lindo, bonito,
If everyone
ni
just
nada
says
¿no?
you're so beautiful and calm, great, you're
No.
never going to learn anything.
No necesita, ¿no?
Then you don't need this.
Eso es una medicina.
It's really a good
¿ya?
medicine for you.
Eso, cada día ver. Porque incluso dice
Marvelous.
alguna dice, Buda dice, alguna emanación de Bodhisattva dice,
And they say
Para-
sometimes these people are emanations of bodhisattvas, actually.
por aprobar nuestra
They're
práctica.
testing our practice.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Gracias.
Okay.
Papa Brad, you had a question I saw. Go for it. You're muted though. Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear me. Okay. So this one's kind of a different with the attachment. And I'm looking at well, I'm a businessman, and I have learned, like I've tried to do some business, and I put a lot of effort and energy into being involved with this business. And then they went with another partner, and I was very upset about this. I know it's because of the attachment. As it turns out, they didn't make it. As a business, I was very lucky that I wasn't. So what I wanted was good that I didn't get. So I understand that. But what I would like is, Lama, is there a way that I can try really hard to work and get something done, really desiring success, yet not be attached to the outcome? How do I do that? Because I want to work hard. I want to desire and to get out there and get something done, yet not be attached. Is there a way I could do this?
I feel you on that one.
¿Qué digo?
Dice que, por ejemplo, él, como intenté hacer un negocio, no fue bien, como no aceptaron su propósito, entonces, en fin, era bueno porque el negocio no fue bien, entonces, qué bien me salvó, entiendo. Pero todavía tengo ganas de poner todo mi esfuerzo en algo y estar éxito, ¿no? Pero ¿cómo puedo hacer como algo y éxito sin estar pegado?
Ya. Ya. Maravilloso. Maravilloso. Papa bread. Ok. Vamos todos, vamos a hacer eso. Mira, y ¿cómo?
It just makes me laugh when you laugh.
Ya, eso, yo creo que es importante, todo funciona ley de causa y efecto normalmente,
Everything functions through the law of cause and effect.
¿no? Por ejemplo, tú quieres realmente buen negocio, cualquier cosa, ¿no?
So if you really want
No.
a good business,
Pero tú puedes hacer como su semilla, ¿cierto?
you can put the right
Su
seed,
semilla, tu acción,
your
no,
actions,
su intención,
your
¿no?
intention.
Todo se causa condición perfecto.
All the causes and conditions can be done perfectly,
Va a salir,
and they will come out
porque todavía tiene que utilizar sabiduría ahí.
because we
Sabiduría, ¿no?
still have to use wisdom there.
Por ejemplo, cuando nosotros tenemos, yo quiero naranja, por ejemplo,
So if we say, I want an orange, for example,
pero tengo semilla de naranja,
but I have the orange seed,
pero no es suficiente solo eso.
but it's not sufficient just that.
Necesita tierra fértil,
We need fertile soil.
5 elementos o no, 4 elementos de equilibrio.
We need
¿no?
the elements, the 4 elements in balance.
Y cuidando, agua poniendo,
And
¿no?
we take care of them with water.
Y eso todo como la correcto todo, ¿no?
All of these are correct.
Y ya va a funcionar, ¿cierto?
And that's the way that it will work.
Entonces, ahí no necesita como expectativa ni apego,
So
¿cierto?
then I don't need expectation or attachment.
Normalmente nosotros humanos tenemos apego y expectativa,
We normally have hope and fear.
¿no? Y ese dos nosotros luchando toda la
We're
vida.
fighting with this all the time, the whole life.
Expectativa como la esperanza, va a salir.
We have like this hope that it's going to turn out good.
A veces no va a caer.
And
¿no?
we're fearful that it might not turn out good.
Entonces, eso todavía nos falta de sabiduría
And this
Vision.
is still a lacking of wisdom and vision
y también confianza.
and trust.
Entonces, primero y importante, visión, claridad.
So first of all,
Primero,
it's good
visión,
to have a
claridad.
clear vision.
Después, intención correcta.
And then it's good to have the right intention.
Después, tú observar bien ese negocio, realmente va a funcionar, mirar bien, ¿no?
And then really look, is this
Todo lo
business really
condition.
going to turn out well, this business with these conditions?
Después, tomar
And
decisión.
then you make your decisions
Luego, confianza
and trust
y acción.
and action.
Y aceptación, por supuesto, hay muchos obstáculos ahí,
And
¿no?
there's going to be a lot of obstacles, so we have to accept them.
Y no necesita todo el día como apegado con eso, ¿no?
And we don't every day just need to be all attached to it.
Y como fluir,
Just flow with it
fluir, como seguir haciendo, ¿no?
and just keep going with it.
Ya. Y normalmente cuando mucho apegado a cosas, no va a funcionar cosa.
And normally when we're very attached to things, we're not, then it doesn't really work out.
No fluye
Because
energéticamente,
it fluidly, it doesn't, the energy doesn't flow.
¿no? Entonces poco medio como solto, medio
So we have to
poco,
be
¿no?
a little relaxed,
Sí, pero confianza,
but trust.
va a salir bien,
It's gonna turn out good.
porque mi causa correcto.
And because because I have the right causes.
Ya. Eso yo pensando, ¿no?
So this is what I'm
No sé,
thinking.
no sé si ayuda eso.
I don't know if that's helpful.
Oh, that's great. It's like don't hope, don't fear, just do it. I like that. I should sell tennis shoes. Just
Like
do
you
it.
got it right. Yeah.
Mi personalmente gusta siempre cosas por probar, ¿no?
I would
Yo.
like to try things.
Porque no somos Budas, ¿cierto?
We're not Buddhas, right?
No sabemos qué va a suceder exactamente,
So
¿no?
we don't really know what's gonna happen, right?
Uno experiencia, póngame algo, ¿no? Vamos,
We
experiencia de
we
vida.
like just try it out and experience it. It's
Yeah.
an experience.
Hago, a veces sale bien,
Sometimes I do it and it turns out good.
a veces más o menos.
Sometimes not so much.
O aprende.
And I learned.
Nunca perde, nunca
You
perde.
never lose.
Siempre aprende.
You're always learning.
Después es perfecto.
And then we perfect it.
Porque yo ando haciendo mucho en monasterio, haciendo varios carpinteras, una mesa, ¿no?
In the monastery, I was doing all of
Mesa.
these like tables and carpentry.
Varios feas, malo.
Many of them were ugly.
Poco puede botar incluso,
You
¿no?
could even just throw them away.
Y luego aprendí eso.
And then I
Equivocando,
learned,
equivocando.
messed up.
Final sale buenas,
Now
¿no?
they turn out good.
Sí, yo miedo, porque, parece no voy a hacer, hacer mal, ¿no?
If I was scared and I'm just like, oh, I don't know if it's going to turn out good,
No desarrolla,
then we never develop.
¿no? ¿Entendió? No aprende nada,
Then
¿no?
we don't learn anything.
Por eso yo creo que eso es importante, ¿no?
So I think this is important.
Ya. Confianza, autoconfianza.
Thanks, Brad. I needed to hear that one today.
Muy bien, gracias, Lama. Gracias, Carolina.
Como otro yo le digo, confianza dice como un pajarito confianza su ala.
So like a little bird, a bird on a branch, the bird is trusting its wings.
Porque ya sabe volar, ¿no?
He knows how to fly.
Y no confiando una rama va
It's
cayendo.
not actually trusting this branch that's about to fall.
No, 100% y externamente no puede confiar,
We
¿cierto?
can't just trust everything externally,
Pero puede confiar tu
but
potencial.
we can trust our own potential.
Ya, y si taza quebró,
This cup broke,
pero yo no confío en taza.
but I didn't trust the cup.
Es cerámica para romper
It's
por fuera.
ceramic, of course it's gonna break,
Pero confío en mi
but
potencial.
I trust my potential.
Yo tengo potencial de comprar,
I have potential
hacer eso.
to
puedo
buy a
hacer.
new cup or make one.
Ya no nace preocupación.
I don't have to
No,
worry so
no
much.
miedo.
No fear.
¿Entendió? Eso yo hago siempre eso, ¿no?
So I always do
Mi
this.
manera, ¿no?
In my way.
Ya, algo puede suceder. Ok.
Something happens,
Yo
I'm
tengo.
like, okay, I have the
Yo
potential.
soy fuente de ese cup.
I
fuente
am
de cup.
the fountain of this cup.
Ya. 1000 cup puede comprar.
I could buy 1,000
Cambio,
cups and break them all.
¿Entendió? ¿Entendió? Nosotros decimos, ya rompió taza, ¿qué hago ahora? Llorando, ¿no?
We're like, oh no, the cup broke.
Y entonces tomando refugio taza.
Because we're taking refuge in the cup.
No, toma refugio tu
I
potencial.
take refuge in my own potential,
Tu wisdom,
in your wisdom,
tu habilidad.
in your own ability.
¿Ya? Porque es por eso nosotros somos siempre, digamos, budismo dice como Budas, somos Buda, ¿no?
Because
Tiene
in
potencial
Buddhism,
infinito.
we actually say that we have infinite ability.
Ya.
Got this. Back, all right, we're back on the horse. We got it.
A ver qué digo. Ya, ahora tenemos casi. Tenemos uno más, si pregunta uno, si tiene, puede.
So we're almost at time, and if there's one more
Oops.
question, we could do one more.
Y más importante, práctica, ¿cierto?
And more importantly, practice.
Mm.
Oh. All right. Listo.
Ya, yo creo que hoy bien, ¿ya? Vamos a hacer dedicación.
He said, I think we're good then.
Sí.
We're going to do a dedication.
Sí. Ya ustedes seguir ahora, mira, ese ejemplo de arcoíris, ¿recuerda?
And so just keep
Una
remembering,
tarea hacer, ¿no?
just keep remembering this, the rainbow is your homework to remember.
Entonces, cualquiera tú toca como cosas agradables, cualquiera en la para hacer en la cinco sentidos,
So
en la
anything,
vida,
anything that you encounter with, any of the pleasures,
nunca toma refugio.
don't take
Esa para
refuge,
hacer, ¿ya?
don't take refuge in this pleasure.
Ese como la arcoíris.
It's a rainbow.
Algún momento él desaparecer,
And in one day it will disappear.
pero yo voy a disfrutar el momento me toco, ¿no?
But I'm going
Cada
to
momento, ¿no?
enjoy each moment that I encounter.
Pero no preocupación futuro.
But I'm not going to worry about
No.
the future.
Y eso, entonces eso no se puede disfrutar en la vida,
And we
¿no?
can enjoy life in this way.
Y hay no sufrimiento.
And
no
there's no
sufrimiento.
suffering.
El sufrimiento inventado de nuestras aflicciones.
Suffering is invented by our afflictions.
¿Ya? Normal, no hay sufrimiento.
Really, there's actually no suffering.
¿Ya? Ok. 장조 샘조림 번제 만개와 남개결지 개와냥방면바양가는건배와쇼 장조 샘조림 번제 만개와 남개결지
May the excellent and precious bodhicitta arise where it has not arisen. May it never decline where it has arisen. May it always increase more and more.
Thank you. Gracias, gracias, gracias.
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 Thank
Thank you, thank you.
Love you guys.
Gracias.
Chao, muchas gracias.
A la Nicole,
Chao, bye.
Sita, Sabe, a Lorraine, Dana Paramida, Susan, Pam, Talita,
No, stop.
Pam, no, no, Pam. Oh, ya, ya, Pam. Leticia, Argentina, no, Argentina, buena area, ¿no?
Buenos Aires.
Buenas Aires, ¿dónde? Oh, ya. Ok, muchos saludos.
Sí, de Buenos Aires.
Maravilloso.
Maravilloso, maravilloso. Muchos saludos,
Gracias,
benditos.
Lama Caro.
Gracias.
Buenas noches. Chao, adoptee.
Ciao, obrigada. Pode ler
Boa
lá.
noite, Thalita.
Boa
Palavra.
noite, Lama. Carolina.